Golf Central on YouTube is brought to you by the new Chrome Tour golf ball from Callaway.
Hi, Keegan. Thanks very much. I know you said you've been surprised by how big a story you potentially playing has become. I just wondered, therefore, what your reaction when the president even intervened, saying he wanted you to play.
Yeah, that was really surreal. I've been really blown away with the support. Anytime you get the support of the President of the United States is really surreal and stunning. So I really appreciate it, Mr. President. I hope you're not disappointed. We look forward to seeing you at the Ryder Cup, and that certainly made things. It really when you see stuff like that, you start to wonder how we got to this point in my life. But I was really honored, deeply honored to have him say that.
Thank you.
Robbie Wooder up next.
Hi, Keegan. Hopefully you've been able to have some fun throughout this process of being the captain, but what has been your favorite part of the captain experience so far? And then fast forward to Sunday, September 28th, and describe the perfect storybook ending.
Well, without question, and I've expressed this to the guys, my favorite thing about being captain is it's forced me to open up more. And, I sort of lived life on tour in the shadows for most of my career. And, I went to the course, did my job, and I left. And I didn't forge many strong relationships. And as I've gotten older, I've really regretted that. And what these guys have taught me is that's not the way you have to go about your career. And getting to know Patrick, getting to know Sam, all these guys, has been really great. And selfishly, it's been great for me as well. It's taught me a new life on tour, and I truly believe it's helped me play at a higher level.
On Zoom, 2 more questions are left. Juan, good morning.
Good morning, how are you? So there's 4 of you as the players that played in Rome. I was wondering, from that experience, what can you use to motivate yourself, Bethpage, and what can inform your attitude this year?
Juan, I tell you what, we're getting some inconsistent words from you right now. We're going to go to Adam Schupak, and we're going to see if we can clear up your line.
Okay.
Keegan, we've dwelled a lot on the tough calls to make, but give me a story of calling one of these guys and somebody who was just, crazy happy about this. What was the best moment in terms of the good calls?
Truthfully, calling them all was great and a huge relief. But I really enjoyed calling the guys who haven't made Ryder Cup team before. Calling Cameron Young, who I knew had worked so hard at making this team, from New York, Bethpage. I know he's had some heartbreaking teams that he's missed, and I can relate to that. That was a really special call. And calling Ben Griffin. Ben wasn't on our radar till this year, and he just continuously played at an extremely high level throughout the whole year. And I got a chance to play with him for the first time at Wyndham this year, and I was just blown away with how good this guy was. And I was wondering where the hell he's been for the last few years. But I just was so impressed with these 2 guys, and getting to make the call to be your first Ryder Cup team is a huge deal. And I really enjoyed those 2 calls. Sam showed a lot of emotion, which I appreciated. Pat didn't give me any emotion, which, but it was great. I've been looking forward to those calls for months.
Thanks.
All right, Juan, it looks like you're asking any of the 4 players that actually played in Rome what they learned from Rome that they can bring to Bethpage. Leave it up to any of you 4 to respond. You guys are done, aren't you? Juan, I'm going to give you a one-on-one with each of them for about an hour each. We'll get back to you on that. Seeing no more questions right now, ladies and gentlemen, Keegan, I'd like you to take a deep breath and give us your final thoughts.
Yeah, I just when this first started, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if we can handle this with playing a full-time schedule. A lot of people didn't think I could still play and do this. I'm really proud of the year that I had, but I'm more proud of the guys and how they've been. Again, I'm not afraid to say that I look up to each and every one of these guys, just of how they carry themselves, how they conduct themselves, the way they play, the way they treat each other. I've never seen, they're genuinely, their friend wins a tournament, they're genuinely happy for that other player, and I see them rooting for him when no one's watching, watching TV and cheering him on. And it was inspiring to me, and it changed me as a person and as a player forever. And I'm not afraid to say again that I look up to each and every one of them, and they've taught me so much. And I look forward to returning to Bethpage as the Ryder Cup captain, and hopefully winning the Ryder Cup on Sunday.
Ladies and gentlemen, your 6 captain's picks and Keegan Bradley.
And Keegan Bradley has spoken, and he will not play. It will be a walkie-talkie for him, not 14 clubs at Bethpage Black. His 6 captain's picks are 2 major championship winners in Justin Thomas and Colin Morikawa, 2 Ryder Cup rookies in Ben Griffin and Cameron Young from the state of New York, and Patrick Cantlay and Sam Burns, 2 Ryder Cup veterans. Damon Hack, Eamon Lynch, and Mark Rolfing back with you on this Wednesday. Your initial reaction, Eamon?
No surprises and no real gambles in here either. I mean, there's always this debate around the American team. Are they picking for the benefit of the team, or are they picking to make individuals happy? Are you searching for a complementary skill set that rounds out your roster, or are you picking someone because of their relationship with someone else who's already qualified? And there will always be that kind of speculation. Sam Burns, one of the picks today, is very close with Scotty Scheffler. Again, Patrick Cantlay has a great relationship with Xander Schauffele. But these are all defensible picks in every respect. And if there is going to be any controversy, it's probably around the 2 guys he picked who haven't won recently. Colin Morikawa hasn't won in a couple of years. Patrick Cantlay hasn't won in 3 years, where there are guys out there who were overlooked who have actually won this year. Chris Gotterup, Keegan Bradley himself. Andrew Novak is one of those guys as well. Brian Harman also on that list. But Colin Morikawa, for example, he hasn't played particularly well recently. He's had 1 top 10 since March. At least Patrick Cantlay played well in the playoffs. But you got to work if the number 8 player in the world is your controversial pick for this team.
Well, the biggest speculation was that Keegan Bradley was going to pick himself, Rolf, which he did not.
It's a remarkable decision, really, in a lot of ways, for him not to play. It's totally selfishness. I can't imagine what he had to go through in order to make that decision. He said it's been made for a little while, but there was a stage there where he thought he was going to play. Now the work starts for the U.S., really, and there is a lot of work to do. And I think the big question is going to be, are we going to see the same old from the U.S. pairings and the matchups? Because Europe is very much going to look like the same team that walloped them in Rome. And, if you take a look at some of our teams that are well-established teams, like Cantlay and Schauffele, for example, is that going to be a proper team, particularly to put out there in a morning foursomes, which is the most important session on Friday? That is by far the most important session of this upcoming Ryder Cup.
Fascinating decision by Keegan Bradley not to pick himself, knowing how much he loves this competition. I think the Ryder Cup is the event that identifies him more than any event, even though he is a major championship winner, of course, that PGA back in 2011.